Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to look at three different half-inch ratchets. We're going to clean and service them as best possible with simple tools and supplies, and we'll go over the mechanisms of all three. This is not a full-blown better than new restoration video, rather than let's get them working again. I purchased all three ratchets at the swap meet for $5 and under. But before we start, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. It'll help my channel grow. All right, let's get started. Okay, this first ratchet is a J.H. Williams S50 half-inch ratchet. It belonged to Morgan. It's stamped 1695, maybe the tool number, maybe his employee number, I don't know. It's very much so beat up. It has a reversing plug that's held captive. It can't be removed. And here's the problem with the ratchet. It free spins. No ratcheting action whatsoever in either direction. Probably something in here with the, there's a square pin inside with a spring probably stuck. And that's what we're going to have to figure out. You can see the Diamond W logo. That was all part of J.H. Williams. Next up is this way cool Craftsman. I like me Craftsman, so yeah, it's right up my alley, this one. It's stamped with the letter O there. You saw the raised panel and the recessed panels. V series, so likely from the 50s. You can see one of the screw heads is broken off, but the rest of the screw is still in there. This ratchet works. Bone dry, but it does work in both directions. This will be a nice clean it up, lube it up, get it working again. Okay, and here's the treat of the day, this Plomb half-inch ratchet that looks like it's been down with the Titanic for the last 100 years. Super rusty, super pitted. It does work though. Model 5449, made in USA, of course. Interestingly enough, it has a proto plate. Now you can still to this day buy a repair kit, which comes with this plate, the gear mechanism. So maybe they gutted an old proto and used the parts. I don't know, but it does work. Very smooth. Gunked up a little bit, but yeah, we'll get it going. Yeah, here are the three patients on the examination table, and let's take a look at each one. So starting with the Williams, the first thing we have to do is remove the plug. I wasn't sure if it was going to give me problems, so along with my regular screwdriver, I brought out Big Bertha, but no, it turned out to be fine. I was able to remove the screw plug. You'll see that in a sec. Next is the spring. And using my magnet, I was able to pull out the square pin. This is what rides against the teeth of the gear for the ratcheting mechanism. You can see that corner where it's been ratcheted for many, many years. Very worn out. Now I could see stuff inside. I wasn't sure what it was, but I could see something. So using my magnet, I was able to pull out small chunks of metal. Uh-oh. That's not looking good. To look deeper, this retaining ring has to be removed. It turns, so I just started it with my punch, gave it a few whaps and got it going. Now to finish removing it, not only working on tools is one of my hobbies. I also like to repair my own watches, and this is a case back tool that you use to twist off the backs of watches. So I thought, well, let's give it a try here. I really don't have anything else to use. And after adjusting it to fit the 2 holes, I wasn't sure if these little pins would hold up, but they did. They're metal of some sorts, and yeah, no
That
problem. It
worked.
was able to turn the that retaining ring, no problem. Retaining ring off. Here's the gear mechanism. Looks good so far, right? Don't see anything. Yep, looks, oh, uh-oh. Well, much like my Uncle Willie, it's missing a few
That's
teeth,
not good.
so that's the metal that we saw lying down at the bottom.
Yeah.
So what to do? I'm pretty sure the ratchet wheel is impossible to find. So at this point, I decided to service and clean the ratchet as best we could and work with what we have. Watch any tool restoration video and you'll see that just about everyone uses this magic potion, Evaporust. It does wonders removing rust off metal tools. I buy it at Harbor Freight and it works fantastic. The Williams ratchet doesn't have much, if any, rust, so the Evaporust should make a quick work of it. Here's the ratchet after an overnight soaking. Yeah, the cleaning uncovered this very early Williams stamping. Looking much better after a few passes with the wire wheel. Okay, time for reassembly. I like to use this silicone grease I buy at Napa. It's just like super lube, same stuff essentially. I don't put a whole lot. Remember, this is just a ratchet. It's not a NASCAR at Talladega revving at 10,000 RPM. So really just wherever metal's going to hit, I'll put a little bit of grease. Okay, time to drop in the square pin. I did put in a fresh corner, the spring, the plug. Here I'm showing that after cleaning and lubrication, the ratcheting mechanism is working much better. Okay, time to grease the ratchet wheel, and again, not a whole lot of grease needed. Well, now that it's working, let's give it a quick buff and polish. this is about as far as we're going to go with this Williams ratchet. It's working again. It looks so much better. And let's fit it with an appropriate Williams socket. I think Morgan would be pleased. J.H. Williams Tools dates back all the way to the late 1880s and was started by James Harvey Williams and Matthew Diamond in New York City. According to Alloy Artifacts, by far the best tool resource on the internet, this S50 ratchet dates to between 1935 and 1939. J.H. Williams still exists today as Williams Industrial Tools, a division of Snap-on. Moving on to the Craftsman. First things first, let's remove the, one screw that's left. When we remove the front, you see the ratchet wheel on this one, and really that's it. It's the plate, the ratchet wheel, and the pawl that can't be removed. It's riveted in place. You can see this does have all its teeth. They're a little worn, a little rounded over, but they're all there. The plate, here's the remnants of the screw, but it came off pretty easily. Not sure why the head would have broken off. Lots of gunk and dried stuff. A little stiff, but it still works. Again, not removable. Okay, an overnight soaking in Evaporust. If it looks a little murky, it's because it's the same one I used for the Williams ratchet. According to the Evaporust jug, you can use it over and over again. I don't know about that, but I did use it at least twice. And here we are after an overnight soaking. I'm curious to know, how many tools have you cleaned with the same batch of Evaporust? Let me know in the comments below. After the wire wheel, I did want these upper panels to shine. So I started to sand it with 600 grit wet dry sandpaper just to see what would happen. And right away the shine started to come back, so I decided to continue, and then next sanded it with 1000 grit sandpaper. That's 1000, not 100. Off camera, I wet sanded the head and the other side. And finally, a bit of polishing with the Dremel. looking good, a little uneven, so we'll polish it again, but looking much better, yes. Reassembly time, but before we could start, I did have to buy a couple screws, and at Lowe's I was able to see that the size of the screw is 6 by 32. I bought these in 3/4 inch length. They were a bit long, so I would have to trim off a millimeter or two to get it to the same size as the original. Now it's reassembly time. It's the same process as with the Williams ratchet, so I'll shut up for now. This very cool Craftsman ratchet dates to the late 1940s to 1950s, according to Alloy Artifacts. Be sure to pay them a visit for all your tool information needs. Craftsman still exists today, but owned by Stanley Black& Decker, and all hand tools are made in China or India and are not the tools our grandfathers and fathers purchased back in the day, sadly. So much like a 4th of July fireworks show, here's the grand finale. Let's see what we can do with this rust bucket. You can see that the Plomb ratchet consists of the most moving parts. It has the ratchet wheel, 2 pawls, and 2 springs. And you can see how it works here. As I move the lever over to the side, the pawls rotate back and forth, engaging with the gears on the ratchet wheel. To help out the evaporust, I did wire wheel the ratchet with my drill to remove as much loose rust as possible. Owner's marks, perhaps?
Final day in the round of 16 is tomorrow on Fox. Argentina against Egypt. Argentina given that scare by Cape Verde. Switzerland taking on the maybe underrated Colombians. Coverage starts 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific on Fox. Switzerland are hard to beat, Mark. Very hard to beat.
That's a really intriguing matchup.
Yeah,
Very
is.
contrasting styles. Colombian fans have been phenomenal this entire World Cup.
Yeah, they always are.
I would use a fresh batch of evaporust for its overnight soaking. Looking much better, but you can see a whole lot of pitting all over the body of the ratchet. Lots of wear on the lettering on this side, for sure. Lots of pitting all over the body of the ratchet. But you can see the plate here is in much better shape, telling me it was definitely installed much later. To try and remove some of the pitting, I decided to wet sand with 400 grit sandpaper. Let's see how this goes. Not very well, as you can see. Well, I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. So what I didn't record was that I sanded with 120 grit sandpaper, and that did really smooth out the body much better. You can see the unsanded side here. I would end up sanding the rest of the ratchet with 120, and then 600, and then 1000. After more sanding and more polishing, the ratchet is looking a whole lot better. Some of you may be thinking that I should have gone further to really clean up the pitting, but you can see how worn the ratchet is compared to a non-worn wrench. Look how much more pronounced the lettering and the pebbling is. So there really wasn't much point in going further. This ratchet sure did have a lot of use over the years. The Plomb Tool Company, that's Plomb, began as a blacksmith shop in 1907 right here in my hometown of Los Angeles, California, by Alphonse Plomb and his partners. In the 1920s, Plomb expanded into sockets, wrenches, and many other automotive tools. In the late 1940s, Plomb was sued by hammer maker Fayette R. Plumb, that's Plumb, for trademark infringement. Fayette Plumb won, and in a nutshell, Plumb eventually changed names to the tool company we know and still exists today as Proto, a combination of the words professional and tools. The plant in Los Angeles is long gone, torn down in the 1980s. Plumb, that's Plumb, hammers are still made to this day. My 5449 ratchet dates to between 1945 and 1948. Well, there you have it. Let me know your thoughts. Which ratchet did you like the best? I'm a Craftsman guy, but honestly, I like the Plomb the best. It's smooth, it's quiet, and it cleaned up real nice. And if you like what you saw, hit that like button and consider subscribing. It'll really help my channel grow. I'd appreciate it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.